Picture this, it's 2 a.m., you're hunched over your computer, your third energy drink is getting cold, and you're still tweaking that one transition that your client probably won't even notice. Sound familiar? If you're a creative freelancer, you've probably lived this nightmare more times than you'd like to admit. And here's the truth. Most creative freelancers are terrible at managing their time. They think that being creative means chaos, but I'm here to tell you that's complete garbage. After doing this for years, I think I've cracked the code on how to work smarter, not harder. But here's my most killer insight that changed everything for me. Creativity doesn't happen despite structure, it happens because of structure. Think of structure like a riverbank. Without those banks, water just becomes a messy swamp. But with clear boundaries, that same water becomes a powerful river that can carve through mountains. So let's dive into the systems that will transform how you work. You know what's funny? Most creatives treat their work like a magic box. Ideas go in on one end, and somehow amazing work comes out the other end. But here's the thing, even magicians practice their tricks with precise timing. And I learned this the hard way when I spent an entire week on a 30-second animation that should have taken me just 2 days. Why? Because I had no structure. I was like a kid in a candy store, trying every cool effect I could think of. Now, I time box everything. Ideation gets 2 hours, scripting gets 4, animation gets 8, and so on. It's like cooking. You don't leave the pasta boiling all day hoping it gets better. You set a timer, and when it's done, it's done. And here's the weird part. When you give creativity boundaries, it actually gets more creative. It's like telling a comedian they have 5 minutes instead of an hour. They cut the fluff and get to the gold faster. Being a creative freelancer is like being a superhero with a secret identity. 1 minute you're Batman, saving the world with incredible motion graphics, and the next minute you're Bruce Wayne, answering emails and chasing invoices. The problem is, most freelancers try to wear both hats at the same time. It's like trying to paint a masterpiece while your phone keeps buzzing with notifications. Your brain cannot switch that fast. So I split my days like Jekyll and Hyde. Mornings are for my creative brain, and that's when I edit, when I animate, and when I make magic happen. Afternoons are for my business brains, emails, client calls, and all of the boring stuff that keeps the lights on. Think of it like this. You wouldn't brush your teeth while eating breakfast, right? So why try to create art while managing spreadsheets? Here's something that might hurt your creative ego. The best professionals are lazy. Not lazy in a bad way, but smart lazy. They hate doing the same thing twice. I used to write every client email from scratch. Every project brief was a blank document, every animation started from zero. I was like someone who rebuilds their car engine every time they want to drive to the store. Now, I have templates for everything, or at least I try to. Email templates that make me sound professional without thinking, project templates that ask all of the right questions up front, animation presets that give me a head start on every project. And you know what this gave me? More time to be actually creative. Instead of spending an hour crafting the perfect thanks for your interest email, I spend that hour making cooler transitions. Templates aren't cheating, they're tools. A carpenter doesn't feel bad about using the same hammer for every nail. Now here's where most freelancers mess up big time. They get so busy chasing money that they forget why they started creating in the first place. It's like being a chef who only cooks fast food. Sure, it's cooking technically, but your soul is dying a little each day. I block out time every month for passion projects, not if I have time projects, but scheduled, protected, sacred time. These projects obviously don't pay the bills, but they feed something more important. They feed my creative spirit. So think of client work as your day job and passion projects as your dreams. If you only do the day job, you become a robot. But if you balance both, the passion projects make your client work better, and the client work funds your passion projects. It's like an exercise. You don't have time for it until you make time for it. And once you do, everything else gets easier. Once a month, I become a detective investigating my own life. I track every hour for a week like I'm solving a mystery. And let me tell you, the results are always shocking. You know that quick email check that I thought took 10 minutes? It actually took an hour and 15 minutes. That simple edit that felt like 30 minutes, 3 hours and 20 minutes. It's like stepping on a scale after the holidays. Painful, but necessary. You cannot fix what you don't measure. When you see where your time actually goes, you start making smarter choices. You realize that scrolling social media isn't research, it's procrastination. you see that saying yes to every tiny revision is killing your profit margins. Now here's a mind-blowing fact. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. It's like how 80% of your favorite songs come from 20% of your playlist. Most freelancers work on everything like it's equally important. They'll spend 3 hours perfecting a title card that nobody will remember, and then rush through the main animation that makes or breaks the whole project. I start every day by asking, what's the one thing that if I do it well today will make everything else easier or unnecessary? Sometimes it's finishing a pitch that could land a huge client. Other times it's completing the main animation sequence. But it's never organizing my desktop or updating my portfolio for the 47th time. Think of your to-do list like a pyramid. The big important stuff is at the bottom. The tiny perfectionist stuff is at the top. Most people start at the top and never actually get to the foundation. Want to know the biggest time waster in freelancing? Bad communication. It's like playing telephone with a client who speaks a different language. And you know how this goes. The client says, well, make it pop more. And you spend 6 hours adding a whole bunch of effects. And then they come back and say, well, no, not that kind of pop. And it's rinse and repeat until everyone's frustrated and you've wasted a week. Now I treat every project like a legal contract, which should be anyway. We have a kickoff call, we write everything down, we use tools that let clients point to exactly what they want changed instead of just saying, make it more sexy. Clear communication up front saves hours of confusion later. It's like GPS for your projects. A little planning prevents a lot of getting lost. Now here's the thing about tools. They're only as smart as you use them. Most freelancers either use no tools at all, or they use 20 different apps that don't talk to each other. I try to keep it simple. Calendly handles my meeting bookings, so clients can't play phone tag with me anymore. Zapier connects my invoicing to my email system, and Adobe has scripts that handle my repetitive editing tasks with one click. It's not about having the fanciest tools, it's about picking the right ones that actually save you time. Think of it like cooking again. You don't need 50 gadgets, but having a good knife and a reliable stove makes everything easier. The goal isn't to automate everything, it's to automate the stuff that doesn't need your creative brain, so you can focus on the stuff that actually does. Now think of your brain like a car engine. Every time you switch between different tasks, you have to warm up again. It's inefficient and honestly exhausting. Instead of jumping between editing and emails and phone calls all day, I batch similar tasks together. Mondays are for all my client updates. Wednesdays are for shooting days. Fridays are for editing and finalizing. It's like doing all your grocery shopping once a week instead of running to the store every time you need something. Less switching means more flow. Here's a technique borrowed from the world's most productive people: creative sprints. Set a timer for 90 minutes, pick one task, and go all in. No phone, no email, no distractions. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you treat work like a race instead of a marathon. Those 90 minutes often produce more quality work than an entire unfocused day. And after the sprint, take a real break. Walk around, grab a snack, let your brain recharge. And then do another sprint if you want. Here is the freelancer's curse. Every project takes longer than you think. It's like traffic. It's always worse than expected. I build buffers into everything now. I quote projects with 2 or 3 extra days, and I keep 1 day per week completely open for overflow work or emergencies. And no, this isn't padding your estimate to make more money. It's protecting your sanity and your quality. Rushed work is bad work, and bad work loses clients. The best freelancers treat learning like a job. They don't just hope to get better, they schedule improvement. I block out time every month for tutorials, for experimenting with new techniques and playing with new tools. And no, it's not wasted time, it's investment time. Think of it like sharpening your saw. You could keep cutting with a dull blade, but spending 5 minutes sharpening makes every cut afterwards easier and cleaner. And now for my secret weapon. I keep a journal of every project. Not a diary with feelings, but a detective's notebook with facts. What worked well, what felt overwhelming, how long did each phase actually take, what would I do differently, and so on. And over time, you start seeing patterns. Maybe you always underestimate sound design, or maybe certain types of clients always ask for more revisions. This data helps you make better decisions and more accurate quotes. The most successful freelancers aren't just good at their craft, they're good at understanding their own process. And that understanding comes from paying attention and taking notes. Remember, creativity thrives with structure, not despite it. So build these systems, protect your time, and watch your work and your life get infinitely better. But what if clients don't respect your time and keep coming back with endless revisions? Then you need to watch this video next on how to handle scope creep like a professional.